Ruth and I would like to take the time to demonstrate and talk about the shoulder in. And so what is a shoulder in? Shoulder in is a lateral movement on 3 tracks. It develops engagement, suppleness, and also freedom of the outside shoulder. Develops the elasticity of the outside shoulder. It is a lateral movement that the horse is bent and flexed and travels the opposite direction of the bend and flexion. Some common issues are?
I find that the inner rein is almost always overused when learning it, either with the horse or with my students, which actually creates head in, but then the shoulders pop more to the outside. So I like to talk about the 2 halves of the horse, so the rider has to be conscientious of both. And when you look at the front half of the horse and shoulder in, his shoulders will be to the inside track. And when we talk about tracks, if you're looking at them from front or behind, you're going to see 3 legs. That's the track. You'll see the inside foreleg, then you'll see the diagonal pair, which would be the outside foreleg and the inside hind, and then you'd see the outside hind. But if you look at just the hind legs of a shoulder in horse, it shouldn't look like they're doing shoulder in. It should be traveling straight down the track, not crossing over. Because if it's crossing over the hind legs, then it's a leg yield. So that's our outside legs job, is to be ready to contain the haunches from falling to the outside.
So that's inside leg at the girth, outside leg slightly back.
Correct.
And yeah.
And then we take, I call the paddles, like if I have my 2 forearms is creating my channel with my shoulders, I think of taking both of my hands slightly to the inside. My inside rein is going to guide them into the flexion and bend, but my outside rein is the one bringing the shoulder across.
Yeah. And even though you're sitting on the inside seat bone, you want to stay centered over the horse and take your body, like Ruth said earlier, about the figure skating, and that you take you go in the direction of your limb, of your leg.
That's right.
Is that how to say it correctly? One of the common things that I dislike, and you said about the hind legs crossing, is people must know that it's a process of turning the shoulders, not pushing the haunches out only. And that's a big thing. That's why we're going to demonstrate it through the 10-meter circle, that you then ride the first step of the circle down the long side, where I always say, just even though you want to again sit on the inside seat bone, but you want to go to the direction of where the horse is going.
Right. So some of the other problems that I see with my riders, and by the book and by the rule book, you're supposed to sit your weight on your inside seat bone. But again, I see a lot of my students collapse to the inside. So I find myself talking more to them about their outside shoulder and their outside seat bone. Their hips should be aligned with the horse's hips, and their shoulders are aligned with the shoulder, so that we blend the balance between the rider's spine and the horse's spine, so that we don't lose balance. And I think that's what you're talking about when you're talking about the feel of the flow and which way to sit.
Yes.
And some of us don't always feel what's happening underneath us, so I try to give some little demonstrations like, maybe I can think that the rider looks like they're sitting to the inside, but what they feel is their outside seat bone pushing to the inside.
Yeah.
So I always try to have like a dialogue of, when I think it looks right, I ask them, what's that feel like?
And also, and when we talked about the first stride of the circle, think about, yes, the first stride of the circle, but don't think about when you get to the rail, think about pushing the haunches out. Think about bringing that inside hind forward underneath your body. So it's a little bit less pressure, actually, to get the horse to go more forward rather than out. So we want it to come underneath your body. Yeah.
And that's exactly why shoulder in is such a good engaging exercise, because it involves bend plus sideways, which makes more engagement. And when that inside hind leg comes more to the midline of the horse's body, they're loading, they're taking more weight, takes more self-carriage. And then the rider has to believe it and trust it and soften the inside rein. And so you won't even need to really keep a lot of pressure or activity even on the inside rein once you have established the position of shoulder in. I always tell my riders, and I do myself, breathe out, so that the horse then takes me along in the shoulder end.
And one of the most common faults also, besides neck end, is tilting of the head again, just like in the leg yield. Very common issue. Loss of impulsion is usually comes with that also.
Yeah, because the outside rein is blocking the impulsion. They're coming against the outside rein. So instead of actually accepting it and flexing and going toward it, they tilt the head. The high ear goes up, the ear goes up, and that's the rein that they don't want to come through. And so it's generally the outside rein of bend because they're resisting coming all the way through that outside rein.
Awesome. Well, so then we can demonstrate it now.
All right, Emily, we're going to talk about the shoulder in now. The shoulder in is also a lateral movement. It's on 3 tracks with bend around your inner leg, slight uniform bend around your inner leg. His hind legs should stay on the track of travel, and is going to bring the shoulders to the inside, okay? So the first thing that we're going to talk about is the aids. You're going to have your left leg, in this case, on the girth so that he doesn't turn off the track. You're going to have your right leg slightly behind the girth, ready, not really pushing, but ready to contain the bend and the hindquarters on the outside. Both of your hands are going to come a little bit to the inside to create a new path or channel for the shoulders, okay? So you're going to think about the next time around making a 10-meter circle at P. I'm going to stand just to the outside of your circle, just in the walk. And when you have finished the circle, I want you to think of making a second circle, but I want you to halt on the very first stride of the 10-meter circle. So you're just going to walk the circle, thinking about the preparation of the bend that you might need for the shoulder in. And then you're going to come back to P, and you're going to pretend to start a new one, but halt. Just on the very first stride, like turning and halt. Exactly. So that is the first stride of the 10-meter circle, is shoulder in. And walk on again. Okay, so it's like the inside rein guides the way to come onto the circle. The outside rein turns the shoulders to the inside. Your left leg maintains a small curve around your inner leg. Your outside leg corrects, if necessary, the hind legs falling out, okay? So let's just pick up a bigger trot on a large circle, and then you're gonna come and do your 10-meter circle again. And then you're gonna pretend like you're gonna start a new circle, but then not turn. Your inner leg and your outer rein is gonna help you keep him on the track. You're gonna let the ears go up and a little away from you. Your weight is gonna be stepping a little bit down in your inside stirrup. Your shoulders are gonna look straight along his shoulder line. Very good, very good, very good. And now straighten and pat him. Well done. So I feel like we could have maybe a touch more angle, but no more bend. So we're going to do that with your right rein, okay? I love the bend behind the saddle. You don't need any more in front of the saddle. You're just going to bring the outside elbow of yours a little bit more to the inside. as you begin to pretend that you're going to take another 10-meter circle, but you don't. So you can start again with the 10-meter circle to establish the curve around the inner leg that you want. Very good. You're going to look at his ears. Now you're going to look down the track and you're going to pretend you're going to circle again. You're going to bring your hands left. That's all. That's all. A little more angle, more right rein. That's right. That's right. And turning. Very good.
Ruth, two things. Perhaps if she didn't get quite so close to the rail at the end of the circle, she'd have a little, she's struggling just the first few strides with the angle. I agree. And then a slight loss of impulsion.
We're going to do that one more time. And to make it easier for him and you, I want you to think of not all the way coming back to the track. The track works like a magnet with the horse. So he doesn't want to bring his shoulders more off to the inside because the rail is acting like a magnet. So pretend you're going to make your 10-meter circle a foot off the track this time. And then show us the shoulder in angle. And think I'm going to ride forward towards the end of the rail so that you keep using the engagement that the shoulder is in creating, the creation of this inside hind leg to the outside rein. Now as you begin a little off the rail so his shoulders don't get stuck, and think impulsion and forward. Could I do a medium? Could I do a medium? That's better. Outside rein to the left.
Much better, Ruth. I love the beginning, but then when she went more forward, she lost the angle.
One more time with feeling, as Teresa says.
Really nice.
A little bit more right rein to the left. If he's stuck, think I'm taking the front end to the second track. Very good. That's a better trot. Keep thinking of the front leg in front of you. That's right. Steer with that right rein. If you have to, maybe that's right. Give a little wiggle with your right fingers to say, hey, don't drift out into that containment rein. And look and think impulsion and fluid. Atta girl. That's better. That's better. Super. Good job. Okay, walk and pat him.